this first all started happening, the first job I had was a Holiday Inn, but yeah, that's a totally different, that's has a different story to it. And then I had this job I had was a real estate temp. I tried to actually get back into real estate at that time because I was trying to progress. It was only 2 hours, 2 days a week. It was minimum wage, $12 an hour at the time. But I was just trying to, pick up some work. I think they would have liked me and would have enjoyed bringing me on. But this situation had already started to spring up, and it had started already invading everywhere in my personal life. But I ended up losing that job. I was dealing with a bunch of family stuff at that time, and mid 2017, I got this job at Chili's. I was homeless at that time, but I was living in the backyard of my dad's house in the back patio. They let me sleep outside on the patio. That didn't last long, and I officially became like homeless, living out there at McLovin Flying J, where I've been sleeping in my U-Haul van. For the first 6 months of being working at that job, I was homeless, living out there, and then I saved up and I got an apartment. It's kind of just ironic how I kind of ended up in this parking lot. It's where it kind of began and quote unquote ended. I don't know, whatever. Chill has always been, you're chilling, you're chill, dude, chill, chill, there's always been a play on that. I would walk along these little shrubbery areas and pick up trash. It was a two-part reason. One, I can't stand trash. And the other part was I had nothing else to do, something to keep me busy. I would water and feed these plants. Not exactly composting, but I needed to do something somewhere. I also needed to try to redirect bugs away from me. I had this other guy that would bug me all the time. He was the guy who would, like those duster cans, so it was those like or something like that, or whatever that is they call those. He came around and was giving me a hard time. He kicked my door, and I got off of that, and I ended up chasing him down with a mace. And he was running away. Don't you mace me, don't you mace me. I called the cops on that, and I don't know why. I had the busted window. I had all these other problems that were going on, and why I would call the cops and think that they would be out to help me. And they were like, well, you can't even see the footprints or something like that. And so I just didn't bother with it. And so he didn't really bother me too much more. And every little once in a while I'd see him. I was gone then. Every little once in a while I'd see him. He was also the guy that went up when Taco was getting remodeled. He went up there and talked to that guy about the suspenders and how the suspenders means like unfinished business or something like that, because those painters didn't finish the paint job there, and that became an entire play. About a week or so before my car was going to get towed, it was really hot, and I had some extra water, and stupid me, but as a good Samaritan, I actually went around and handed homeless people some water. I had a bunch of extra water, and I thought, you know what, it's a hot day, and I need water. They probably need water, so I actually went around, kind of an immediate, vicinity, and went around and passed out water to people. Over there on the other side of this road, somebody had noticed me doing that, and they handed me a $100 bill for that. So I thought that was nice. That was cool. Thank you for that. A couple of homeless people would set up tents in these little areas right here. One was maybe in this stall that I'm at now here, or that one over there, or this one right here, or something. They'd set up like a little encampment, either on the grass or in kind of like this parking stall. During that day of handing out people water, I went to go hand these people some water. I didn't see them because they were kind of like tucked away in their little thing, in their little hut. And I said, hey man, I just want to drop off some water to you guys. And they go, hey, have you seen our dog? They had a little dog. It would bark. It was no longer there. I think somebody had taken the dog away for a little while, because I think they were searching for the dog. I didn't even think about it. My dog having the dog license plate. I did not see this plate coming. It was basically like a foretell They were foretelling my future, that I was going to be missing my dog. And I totally didn't see it coming. I'm sitting there as a good Samaritan handing them some water. They're telling me about this play that they know that is already going to be this joke on my missing car, and I didn't put two and two together. I totally kind of even ignored the fact that I had this dog license plate. And like a week later, a few days later, something like that, boom, car gone. That morning, though, there used to be some homeless people that used to also hang around here, and I brought them up before. The name is used to set up a camping tent in one of these like little flower kind of in these one of these little areas where there's dirt. I'd be over there where either my van is or by that truck over there in the distance. One of the mornings, they would yell a lot. Charles would be yelling a lot, and they'd both be yelling at each other a lot. There's homeless people yelling at each other, and they were yelling about missing cat. Have you seen my cat? Have you seen my cat? Hey, where's my cat? Have you seen my cat? Now, I had never seen them with the cat, but again, this was the morning of my car being towed. Still, didn't think nothing of it. Didn't think nothing of it. They had always been kind of, ever since, even a little bit before then, they had been a little nuisance to me. That was a joke that they were in a ruse. They were foretelling this thing, but the opposite of a cat would have been a dog, and they were missing their cat when later on that day I was going to be missing my dog. So that's been this giant community play on this with all of these people, and it kind of sucks. It really sucks. He played another ruse on me, and this is before I really realized that people were going to be this involved in this. This has been like a massive pre-planned. People are really into this stuff here. I went in to talk about, and this homeless guy came through crying. He goes, they took my stuff, and this was, I can't remember what car I had at this time. I probably had the dog car, probably, and I didn't realize the play that they were going to hear, that people were going to be involved in this ruse of stealing my stuff, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think these people were going to be this. I didn't really, it had been a pain, but the community started getting really heavily involved. It became definitely for the homeless community, definitely for anybody driving by, parking, lights, no lights, turn signals, horns, all of that, everything became some kind of symbolic play. And so he was yelling about how they stole his stuff, and I came up to him and I said, hey man, give it to God, it's all going to be okay. And I think I'm being like a good person or something like that, and he's involved in this ruse against me.